Welcome to our Team Beauty Official podcast. It's all about you, girl. And here we are in week 3 of 2023. Truly excited because we have one of our faves. I am not even going to go around it. One of our faves, Miss Valeria Sosa, is with us in the podcast room. And much appreciation and thanks to each and every single one of you who has been listening week by week. Grab your tea, girl, because these topics are getting serious and intense. Both of us have a little something in our throat, but that didn't stop us from coming here and making sure that we brought this week's topic to you. So, the topic of today, right? Open to receive. But before that, Valeria, welcome.
Thank you, Jerry.
Last time we were just, on a table.
Yes.
Ahora sí, you came into, we're in a whole
setup.
We got the room. How do you feel about being here with us? And tell us a little bit about you for all of our new listeners.
I'm so excited to be here, Jerry. The last time I was here, I did tell a little bit about me. I did tell a little bit about my story, postpartum. It was a beautiful episode. I got so many comments from a lot of the ladies that heard it. They loved it. So thanks to all of the girls that tag us and let us know how they like each episode. And well, now we're here in the studio, in the podcast studio, and 37 weeks pregnant currently. So about to give birth very soon, but excited to be here. Jerry was like, come on, before you give birth. So we're here, excited, always happy to share. And this topic is going to be amazing. So
you look beautiful, by the way. And currently you're a mom of?
I have he's about to be 2 at home right now. He's baby Emmy. I have a 9-year-old stepson, and I'm currently pregnant for a little girl. So I'm super excited.
Awesome, Valeria. So, you've been on a journey for 8 years, yes. Right? Almost 8 years. You've been on this journey. And so for everybody listening, Valeria, you came in, right? Single, right? No children. Mm-hmm. And, you've been able to become a mom through this journey. And as the years, start to come up on top of us, obviously, you've been open to that, right? To building a family, raising children, building a business. So, talk to us how that whole transition has been in your personal journey and not laying off your nutrition, because so many times that could be like an option, right? Yeah. Oh, because of this I'm not healthy or eating healthy. How has that been a smooth transition for you?
Well, it has been a transition for sure. I was talking to Brittany earlier before we got in the room, and she's a new mom too, and I was asking her, how are you doing? Do you need any help? Do you have help? Like, tell me, because I guess until you go through it is when you learn, like, okay, wow, this is a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So something that I think has helped me so much is just having a community of women that have been through it, like you, Jerry, like you. I remember when I got pregnant from Emmy, you were always like, are you taking your vitamins? Did you know you can drink this? Mm-hmm. Don't forget to drink this, and the baby's going to need this. Mm-hmm. And so just having the support of the sisterhood that we have inside of what we do has been amazing and has been a great support. So I think that transition, is hard, but having friends, having a support system, having, of course, family and all of you guys that just make it easier for all of us. And, always being open to receive those that advice, mom to mom. I know Ara, she's from Oklahoma, and, I met her through Team Beauty, and she would call me and, let me tell you about postpartum. You're going to need this. You're going to need the Frida kit. Get the. And so it's just amazing to have amazing friendships that I've built in this journey that have helped me prepare for, you know, motherhood and its adventures.
Yes. So, for those of you who do not know Valeria's story, you could always go to the first series,
Yes.
right, and watch hers. I think it was episode 4. Five.
Yes.
Episode 5 on the first series was Valeria. You can get an in-depth, of her story, and we don't want to repeat
Go
that.
listen to that first and then come back to this one. Stop betraying your inner badass was the topic.
That one was
It was
so
amazing.
good. Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, right, like we have a series of speakers who come on here, and we just give them, a list of topics that, are in our mind for this current challenge and the theme. And so Valeria chose open to receive, right? So that's the topic of today. Open to receive. What is it that attracts you to it? Why did you choose this topic? And I mean, let's just dive right in.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we've been through like crazy years, Jerry. We all know 2020 was crazy. 2021 had its things, and 2022 has just like left the door, and we're just now entering 2023, and it's just like rising subjects of like anxiety and depression, and those things really hit home to me because after becoming a mother, going through postpartum baby blues and all of these things, it's just a topic that to me is so dear to my heart, and I want to normalize like talking about those things and how to be open to receive maybe the solution to the way you're feeling, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just a topic that spoke to me, and I'm excited to open up about that.
Have you ever had moments of your life where you maybe weren't open, to receive, or, how do you feel today, right? That it's like, I feel so strongly about this topic because, maybe been there, done that, yes. Right? Usually that's what builds the experience through the years is, been there, done that, right? And we're the ones usually giving the advice, at least things that we feel strongly about. And so how can somebody really identify, if they're ready to receive or not, how they currently feel? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I can tell you that I've been through ups and downs like everybody, okay? I've been in toxic relationships. I've been in toxic relationships with food, with exercise, with so many things, as we grow and mature and live through our experiences. We see sometimes a pattern of like either it's you're going down or you're going up. And for me, in my early 20s is where I was like going down, and it was like overweight, depressed, toxic relationships, toxic relationship with food, going for the ice cream, the hot Cheetos to fill a void in my heart. And so I think it's important to realize like when you're going downhill and when you're going uphill. So when I'm going downhill, I can recognize it by just being aware of where I am. And so, for me, it looked like being in my room, Jerry, like sleeping all day or eating junk food all day, not wanting to talk to anyone, isolating myself from people, not being active in like family activities, not being active in events that were important. Maybe, like not going to that birthday party because I don't even want to deal with no one, mm-hmm. I don't want no one to ask me what I'm going through. Yes. You lack attention. If someone is reaching out to you, you kind of blow them off. So those are maybe some of the things that you can see when you're not open to receive, right? So like for me, when I was going through my depression and toxic relationships, those were things that I would do, isolating myself, not being open to talking to someone, just dealing with my emotions, eating junk food, and isolating myself. That was some of the things that or even just avoiding people and activities, avoiding certain people because that they're going to trigger something that you don't want to be triggered. So like all those things were how I was dealing with my spiral going downward. So those were things that maybe you can see, okay, I'm not open to a solution. I wasn't really open to a solution. I was just going with my feelings, being depressed, eating bad, gaining weight, and it's a vicious cycle that, like, if you don't know how to get out of it, like, you go into depression, you go into those things. But Jerry, like, it's so easy. Like, there's two ways to go: stay where you are or look for that solution, get out of the hole. Which is something that took me a while, but thank God I was able to get out of that and just learn to be better, open myself to different things and people, and communicating with people to help me heal and go through all those things.
I think the surroundings, right? Like, obviously, if we're excluding ourselves, right? Putting ourselves in a dark room or not leaving our house, or like not maybe even either like answering our phone or anything like that, puts us in that dark space where it's just us and whatever the thoughts are in our mind. But when we realize that, we don't want to keep going into that spiral down way, right? Or routine, especially in this new year, right? Like, so many people start off with your New Year's resolutions. You have your goals. Okay, girl, 3 weeks have gone by.
Yeah. Are you open?
Where are we? Are you like, oh, it's not going to be a different year for me? Or what am I doing and what can I continue doing different? And so being open to receive the feedback, maybe the transition, even your coach. I mean, being open that in the week that you didn't lose the weight that you wanted, open to adjusting, open to criticism, compromise. Like, you've got to come halfway, right? Got to come halfway in order for you to really meet and be able to move forward in a different direction from where you're at in this current space. So tell me a little bit, I know you have a lot of customers, right? You have a team. And so what is it, from the people that you see that have success to the people that don't, how they can move the spiral the other way around to receiving the tips, receiving the advice, and really seeing a solution with our platform.
I love that you asked me that, Jerry, because that's definitely something as coaches that we're always like, okay, who's the one that's most active on the chat? Who's the one that does their weigh-ins? Who's the one that is more active in, anything that we do? And then who is not? Because the ones that are active, the ones that are posting their shake, their sweaty selfie, they're good. But those that don't, like, for example, the ones that didn't send me their before pictures, or the ones that are not even, haven't checked Telegram in the last 2 days, I'm like, okay, this person, like, they're going through something, right? So what I like to do is give them a phone call and hey, and then I realized, like, oh my gosh, she was in a car crash. Like, no wonder she's been, MIA. I talked to her personally. How are you? I just wanted to know if you're okay. I haven't gotten your pictures. I haven't, and it's like she had been through a car crash, and it was like her car was wrecked. Like, she was alive for the grace of God, but it was like, oh my God, she went through something so, like, horrible, and I had no idea. So I guess, but she was open to, communicate that to me, and, oh my God, I'm glad you're good, and so being open to communicating to even if you're not okay, like if it's been 2-3 days that you're like nobody knows about you, but at least reaching, like, answering the call and being like, hey, you know what, I'm not doing great, I just went through this, or I'm going through grief, or I'm going into a depression, like, help, right? Like, answering the call, answering the message is something that helps them, find a solution, because at the end of the day, as coaches, we want to help you, stay consistent and reach your end goal. And so if you're not open to receiving, if you're not open to answering that message or answering the phone call, then we're probably avoiding it, and that's when the spiral goes down, and we want to help you go up, not down. So I think the success rate with my customers has been those that have been open to receive, that have been open to say, Vale, you know what, I'm having a down day. Like, this happened. I got into a fight with my boyfriend or whatever. And sometimes, Jerry, they just want you to listen to them. Like, they don't want to judge. They don't want you to judge them. They don't want you to criticize them. All sometimes we can do is be an ear, like be open to hearing, listening to them, and let them know, like, we're here. Like, we are here to talk if you're feeling, the way you're feeling, and hopefully you heal from that. That's how we heal, I think, when we talk. Like the podcast that I did with you, the first one, like, it healed so much for me. We got tears, and it's just a healing thing to talk to another individual without being judged and just being listened to. So, those girls that actually open up, that answer the phone call, that answer the message, are the ones that are able to, okay, let me get back into this. I already kind of let that go. I'm open to receive the next blessing.
I love that. And inside of our journey, we have to have, some characteristics, right? The characteristics of, that's why I love the wellness retreat, which is the theme of the next challenge, the one we're in right now, because it's truly about, that mind, body, soul, knowing who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what makes you happy. I love Melissa last week, right? Like, embracing the body that you're in. And so as we go through this, there are definitely some characteristics that define us and that can allow us to see, like, okay, this is who I am, right? And these are what triggers me, what makes me happy, like all of these different things. So can you talk to us about those three things, right? Things that, can allow our listeners to identify, how I can start becoming opening to receive because of the characteristics that create us, right? What makes us happy, what makes us mad, what are those things, Vale? That way we can start, really honing down on breaking those barriers.
Yes. I think for us to be aware of who we are, we should know these three things. So number one, you should be able to define yourself in like three characteristics. So if you have a notebook and a pen right now, or if you're on your phone, write it down. Like, what are three characteristics that define me? So I can say, for me, Jerry, it's like, I'm funny. I like to make people laugh. I'm positive, and I like to learn. Those are three things. Or I'm fun, I'm charismatic. Like, I can say a lot of things, characteristics.
That's the truth
about me.
Yes.
Right? So knowing what characteristics define you. So like, knowing that, write it down and be super aware
and vulnerable with yourself.
Yes. And then number two would be like, what virtues do you have? Right? And so for me, I can say, I like to learn. And not everyone likes to learn to be better. Not everyone likes to read. Not everyone likes to be lovable, or be someone that you can hug, be someone that can listen to you, right? So like, you have to know, what are your virtues, what are your strong points. I like to motivate people. I love to get you to challenge yourself. Those are some things that define me, like my virtues, right? And then number three, what are things you can improve on? Like, what are your areas of opportunity? And that's where you have to be vulnerable. Like, I can say, like, I'm not the most patient person in the world. Like, I don't want to say, ¿cómo se dice? Defecto. I don't want to say that's
defect.
I don't want to say that's like, what are your defects, right? Because nobody's perfect. And I don't want to say they're defects either, because that makes you. But you have to know, like, what are areas of opportunity for you. So, like, for me, I'm not so patient. I'm not like the most organized human being, right? I can definitely get better at all those things. And being a mother has given me patience and made me more organized. But, you just have to be, you just have to know these 3 things, because everybody has their own lists, and your list is probably very different than my list. And the millions of people in earth, like, have their own list. So imagine, like, we're all so different. So if I don't know what's gonna trigger me, like, if I know I'm not very patient, then I'm not gonna, like, be in a situation where, I have to be like I'm the most patient one in the room. Like, I probably don't want to be that person, because I know that that's where I can improve. So I don't know if that makes sense. Yes. But, just having that, being aware of who you are, what virtues you have, and what are areas of opportunity, so that you don't have to be, your buttons aren't pushed and you, like, stormed off of somewhere, or something went wrong because you could have identified, like, not being in that situation.
And I think it all gets connected. It all becomes connected, because you're on your journey to lose 30 pounds, right? Or to have the best first postpartum journey, right? And you're like, yes, like, I just had my baby. Like, I want to have the best transformation ever. Or, like, I don't know, I just dumped my boyfriend and I'm ready to, like, go, right? Whatever it is that's in your case, that you're like, I'm ready to have my best year yet. And inside of you losing your 30 pounds and embracing your body is you mentally really being at a point where you discover that.
Yes.
And that's not going to come from one day to the next. So you not losing weight last week has nothing to do with your transformation.
Exactly.
And you keeping on has everything to do with your transformation.
Exactly.
Like, understanding that maybe you there was a meme, I think, or like those little frames that they post on Facebook, and it was like, can we stop the I want to lose 10 pounds or 100 pounds? And it's like, that's really your mindset. Like, I want to lose 100 pounds in 1 month, and you already want to look hot and fine, and for your clothes to fit you the best, and you already want to be doing those reels where you're like strutting your step and you look the best in those clothes. But, like, the transformation in the middle is the most important. And I love those characteristics, because that is truly what is going to build your mindset to keep the weight off, to be a person of value, to be somebody that is happy, because you understand who you are.
It's like, I remember when I was being weighed every week, and it was like, if I didn't lose weight that 1 week that I had tried, like, that would get me so upset. And you can either spiral down and be like, well, I'm going to cheat now. This doesn't work.
And you quit.
Or you could be like, that's my area of improvement. I need to be patient. Results take time. It takes consistency. Sometimes our bodies
open to feedback.
Yes,
coach,
open
what
to
can
feedback.
I get better in?
Exactly. Maybe if your coach says, you know what, I think you should drink more water. I think
stop drinking alcohol.
You lacked in the snack department or whatever, and not being offended and not being like, this doesn't work. And so we all go through our journey, and just knowing what are your defects, so that you can get better, not so that you can be worse, but you can say, okay, if I need to be more patient, I need to be more patient. What book can I read that is going to give me more patience, right? Or just become a mother and you'll get more patience.
So what are the
That's how I learned.
That came in hard. Okay, don't go get pregnant, please.
Just kidding, disclaimer.
So what are the steps, right? Like, I've identified myself, whether, you're like, no, I'm in a very good state. And now you can identify when you start going in the down spiral form. But what are the steps of, like, okay, identified, perfect. I know my characteristics. Now, how can I start to become open to receive, right? And I'll tell you a story before I pass it over to you. But, I was listening to one of our pastors, and he was talking about being open to receive. And he just really said how we had to position ourselves before, we receive the blessing. And I don't know if you guys watch football or not, right? But like in a football game, sometimes you see the players and they throw them the ball and you're like, oh, like how could he have missed that? Or like he fumbles the ball or he doesn't really catch it, right? And the whole idea behind what he was saying, to make it short, was how you're already thinking of the goal, you're already thinking of the win, you're already like driving yourself that way before you even caught the ball. Yeah. And so you turn your head. Powerful. And you're doing this, right? You're turning your head and you're trying to catch the ball at the same time without looking at the present state. Like, let me open, position yourself. I'm here. Okay, the ball's coming. I caught the ball. Now let me start running towards the goal. Instead, usually people like, you're so excited, I'm about to make this goal. You start running, and then they don't catch it. You don't catch it. And so, be that person that puts yourself in position. Yes. Let's put ourselves in position to receive the blessing, whether that's advice, that's getting out of the hole, that's losing your 30 pounds finally in 2023, whatever that point of break is for you to become the woman that you want, right? You have to set yourself in position. So, Valeria, what are those steps to set ourselves in position to then, be ready to receive and, hit those goals and feel the best that we've ever felt?
I think, Jerry, thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. That was so powerful. And it's true, because sometimes we say we're open, but then it's like we don't feel like we're enough. And it's like, so number one, I would say begin by accepting that you are enough as you are. If you're not, that's why we talked about the characteristics, the virtues, the defects. Yeah, like even with those defects, even with those virtues, even with those characteristics, you are enough. So let's begin with accepting, like, you're like you said in the football game, like, I'm open. Are you really open? Or are you like not open, right? You're saying you're open, but you're not. So like, knowing that you're enough, number one, accepting and beginning with accepting that you're enough for that blessing that is going to come. So like, I related to like when I got to President's Team, which if you don't know what President's Team is, it's the top 1% in the company in Herbalife. And I had like a leap of getting from a leadership to another leadership. And it was like, am I even worthy of that pin level, right? Am I even worthy of President's Team? I would call myself a President's Team. I would put it on my door. I would put it in my phone, in my background, and on my, just as a reminder. But then I had to ask myself deep down, like, do I deserve that? Like, am I enough for that? And until I accepted I'm enough, like, yes, that's going to be me. I'm going to be the first President's Team in Brownsville. Like, that's going to be me. I'm worthy. When I came into realization, when I accepted it, when I said, yes, this is me with all my defects, and I'm going to be, when I really, really accepted that, that's when things started happening, Jerry. And it sounds cliche and it sounds cheesy, but that changed the way I was talking to myself in the mirror. It changed the way I was showing up to events. It changed the way I was showing up in my business. And so number one, I would just say knowing that you're enough and accepting that, not, wavering if you're enough or not. That's number one. So number one, accepting that. Number two, are you making room for that, right? So I love that we did our closet sales before 2023 started. We know that we want more bags and we want more clothes and we want more shoes. So, it's, are you really cleaning out space, right? Are you really, I know a lot of girls did closet sales. They got rid of things, even my garage right now. Like, I got rid of so many things because I want to start the year, like, getting rid of what doesn't serve me. And that could be, I'm not just talking about your house, right? I'm talking about, like, sometimes it's friendships that don't really give you anything. Sometimes it's toxic relationships that you're not learning from, that you're just like going deeper in the hole because of those people. So like getting rid and letting go of things that that are not going to serve you in 2023. So that's going to give you space to receive so much more, right? So
Love that.
that would be number 2. And number 3, just remind yourself that this is a fun and joyful journey. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. This is fun. It's fun. You just have to embrace where you are. You have to embrace, the situation you're in, and identify what are the things you need to change so that you can be open to receive. So we talked about the 5 things that make you not open, and then we talked about 3 things that can help you be open, right? So I guess just identify, where can I get better, or how can I change the spiral going down to be the spiral going up? And I think the wellness retreat is, oh
Tell
my
me about
God,
that.
can we just talk about it? Because we've never done it before, Jerry. I mean, we're known for the transformation challenges. We're known for the photo shoots, which have been amazing. Like, to me, photo shoots like have unleashed a different woman. But a wellness retreat, like, this is something we've never done before. And to start 2023 on the right foot, like, it couldn't have been the best time, Jerry, to do a wellness retreat. And I just think we should talk about it a little bit more, because maybe if you're listening and you're not a part of our challenge, you can still be a part of the wellness retreat. So I want to talk about that, because can you give us a little bit of information of what we're gonna expect in the wellness retreat? Because for me, I'm super excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I already have like a bunch of ideas, and it's
Well, don't get me started. I'm already
Let's
over
talk
here
about it.
fixing the mic.
Let's
and
talk about
getting
it,
ready
please, because anybody can come. Anybody
Yes.
can come.
Anybody can come into our wellness retreat. Guests are always allowed. There's a ticket entry for that.
Yes.
But most importantly, it's, being inside of a space where you get, number one, no judgment, right? Like, that's the first thing, where all of the women, are always so happy that they could be themselves, whether we're dancing or exercising or sharing, whatever it is, like, that you have that no judgment zone. Number 2, you're going to be able to really untap this wellness area, right? Of being able to be like quiet, right? In your space, being able to have fun, being able to stretch. We're going to have exercise,
Yoga,
massages,
meditation.
mimosas, like stories. There is nothing more powerful than being in a room with women who have gone through the similar things that you're maybe going through.
Yeah.
And when you listen to them and hear them so positive and powerful, you're able to say, like, I could do this too. You're able to have that relativity and maybe get some weight off of your shoulders and know that you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're all normal women, going through life together, and being able to target those things that, we have, whatever goal, whether it's income goal, weight goal, mentally and spiritually. And so I can't wait. We're going to host it in 4 different cities.
I have March 5th on my calendar for
Brownsville,
Brownsville,
Texas, on
and
the
it's like,
map.
I'm already writing down who I want to invite, that maybe they're not in the challenge, but that they need to be a part of this, because we all need it, Jerry. Like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing.
There's always perks for our VIPs, right? And, it's going to be incredible. The most important thing for me is that in the wellness retreat, and as you go through your challenge, if you're listening and you're in the challenge, you're going to show up and up like a certain way, and you're
leave
gonna
another.
leave another.
Yes, I'm so
and that's the
excited.
power behind that. So to end our podcast, what is a message that you have for everybody that is listening, Vale?
Be at the wellness retreat. That is the well, no, for real. Like, I just want to say, I'm so blessed to be a part of something that is a solution to a lot of the things that worry me. Like, anxiety worries me. People that suffer with anxiety, with depression, like, that really like hits home for me. And so to know that we have a wellness retreat that can help, like, I just want to get everyone in that retreat. I just want everyone to experience it. anybody can. So how amazing that we've opened the doors to anyone that wants to be open to receive. So,
and as we celebrate our 8th anniversary, tickets are going to be open. You guys are, welcome to start reserving the date, your city, all of that stuff. And, you're not alone. So if you're watching this, the action for this week is, set yourself in the space, open to receive, to get 1% better. All of us are not perfect, and we can always improve by identifying, like, where am I right now? Right? What identifies me? What are those characteristics? And how can I continue moving in a spiral up form, right? Yeah. Moving up, getting better, moving forward, and truly identifying that, traumas exist, the past exists, but, you only look back to see how far you've come.
Yes.
And you've already come this far. Be very proud of yourself and continue smashing it in your journey.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank you for being here with us. And don't forget to tag us,
yes.
share your takeaways, and we will see you guys on the next.